Hello everyone, welcome to the session. In this session, I'm discussing about reading console input and writing console output. Means how to write the input, how to read the input, and how to write the output from console. We'll be learning in this. There are actually three ways for reading the input from console. So if user is typing, how this Java language will read from user is nothing but reading input from console. So to read the input from keyboard or through any file, generally we are discussing about through keyboard only. So to read the input through keyboard from the user, we have actually three ways. One is using buffered reader class, next is using scanner class, and the third one is using console class. So using these three classes, we are going to read the input from keyboard. Now let's see the first one, that is buffer reader. Now to use this buffer reader, uh, first of all, we should know that system.in is an input stream. So what are the input you pass? It will be passing like a stream. Now this will contain our input stream. Now this input stream's data is actually will be in bytes. So that will be converted into characters using input stream reader. So whatever the input we are giving, that will be converting from bytes to characters by this input stream reader. Now that characters whatever is read by input stream reader will be stored by buffer reader in some buffer temporarily, so that it can read character by character. So that is the main concept here. So now let's observe this program. Now I'm just including some importing some packages like buffer reader, IO exception, input stream reader. So basically I'm including the input output stream classes. Next is in my class called as class test, I'm writing my main method. Inside that, I'm writing the buffer reader statement. Here I'm creating the object for buffer reader. So buffer reader class object is equal to new buffer reader, and as I told, it will be reading the characters and storing in the buffer from this input stream reader, which converts this into characters. So and that will take the input from input stream, that is system dot out, system dot in. Now the next thing is, it will read the character, that is whatever is like this object. What it will do is, it will read that using the method called as read line. So read line means it will read the entire sentence or a particular line of characters using that object, and it will assign that string into this variable called as name. Now finally I'm printing that. So on the whole, if you'll run this program, so it will ask you to type something on the screen. So whatever you'll type on the screen, that will be read by this read line method, and through that object is it is assigned to the variable called as string name. So I'm just printing the name. It will print the string whatever you typed on screen. Now this is first method, that is using buffered reader. So next thing is using scanner class. Now scanner is a class which is also used to read the input from console. Now to use this, you have to import the package called utility. So that is java.util.scanner. Now I'm taking a class in the main method. What I'm doing is, I'm trying to create the object of my scanner class. That is object is what here in. And again, the input stream is taken. Now input stream whatever is data is we are typing, that will be actually taken by this object called scanners object called in. Now the next thing is, here we are using a new method called as next line. Like in the previous one we have used read line, so here I'm using next line, which will go to the which will scan the input from the next scanners, what we call pointer. So here, um, so next line will be taken, means whatever we are typing, that will be taken by this next line through the object of scanner, and it is storing in the string called as s. Now I just want to print whatever I have stored in s. So for that I'm writing you entered string plus s, whatever we have stored s, that will be printed. Similarly, now I'm taking integer value, next int. So if whatever I'm typing, that will be stored in the variable called as a. So I'm printing that a in the next line. Next is I'm taking next float value. So then it says that the next value you are taking is a float value, which is taken by this scanner object called as in, and that is stored in the float variable called as b. And I'm just printing that you entered the float value b. So if you'll observe, for every type of data we have different methods. For string we are taking next line, for integer we are taking next int, and for float we are taking next float. And all these are taken by the object called as in. So that is scanner's object, and then assigning to some variable. So it's very simple to understand. Now if you'll observe, so we have asked for next line means character, then that is string, next integer and float. So string I wrote it as in James, integer and float. So on the screen I was just entering this, and after that your output will be like this. So we have seen that you entered s, so it will show the output like this. You entered string James, you entered integer 12, you entered float 3.4 likewise. Now let's the third one, that is using console class. Now let's see how console class is used for accessing the input from keyboard or from user, from console actually. Now let's see how it is done. Now here the thing is, I'm importing the package called as IO input output package. In that I'm taking the console class. Next I have my method, sorry, my class read string test. In the main method, again I'm here creating the object for my console. If you'll observe, the object creation is bit different than the previous two. So here what I'm doing is I'm taking the like I'm creating the object along with the input stream, like it shows that input stream is also a combination of this. Like this is the syntax actually. So to create the object we have to write like this: console object name is equal to system dot console. So this is the syntax, whereas the previous one, if it is a buffer reader, we were writing like buffer reader object name is equal to new buffer reader. Likewise for scanner also, whereas for console it is a bit different. So this we have to remember: console object equal to system dot console. And then I'm just printing a statement that enter your name. So what are the name I'll enter on the screen, that will be read by this read line method along with the object of the console class, and then assigning to string variable called as n. Now I'll just print n, saying that welcome plus n. So whatever n is there, that will be printed after welcome. So this is the output. So enter your name. So here something is there. So I entered Java programming. So it is saying that welcome Java programming. So this is how you have to read the input from console. So we have three ways. One is through buffer reader, next is scanner class, and third one is console class. Only console class is a bit different. Now there is one more speciality in this console class, where it will allow you to read the password. And while reading the password, we all know that it should not show the password. It should show some characters which are like special characters. Now that facility is there in console class. Now let's see this program. Again I'm creating the object of console class in the same way that we have seen earlier. I'm just printing a statement as enter password. So when I'm entering, here I'm using a method called as read password. So in the previous one, we have used a method called as read line. So here my method is what? Read password. So it means, and while reading this password, I'm storing that into some array, character array. So here the password is stored into the array. Next is next, I'm taking a string variable called as pass. In that, what I'm storing is, see here, converting character array into string. So the password will be actually in the array format. Now we should convert this array into string format. So for that, we'll use a method called as string dot value of that particular array. So we have said that array is ch. Now whatever is there in that array, I'm trying to convert that array into string. So for that, you need to use the method called as string dot value of array. So value of array is converted into string, and that is stored in the variable called as pass. Now next thing is print just password. That is, pass is the one which where we are storing the character string of character array here. So here I'm just printing password is so and so. So when you'll enter in this line, it is asking to enter password, right? Now when you'll enter, it will not be visible because it will be reading the password in invisible characters. But after reading, if I want to know, you can just convert that array into string and then print that string. You will get the password. So this is how it will look like. So it will ask you to enter password. When I'll enter, it will not be visible here, but in the next line, when I'm converting that array into string and then printing, it will show this output. So this is the speciality of this console class, where you have read password method also. So this is one of the, what you'll call, this is also reading console input, that is password. And one more console example. This is a bit in it is a bit in detail. Now let's see what is that. Now first thing, I'm creating the object of the console. Here my object is what? Console itself. Now next I'm checking that if console is created or not. So if console is equal to null, just I'm comparing if it is null, that is after creating the object. If it is null, it means that console is not supported, then exit. Otherwise, if it is not null, then console is supported. In that case, what I am doing is I'm taking this string name is equal to object console object dot read line. What's your name? So this is a string what is printed on the screen. Immediately if I'll type something, that will be read by this read line method, and it is stored in the string called as name. Similarly, age. How old are you? I'll type something, that will be red line used using the red line method. It will be read, and it will stored in the variable called as age. Similarly, the next one. Now on the whole, I'm reading three values here: name, age, and location of stay. That is, where do you live? Now all the three I'm trying to print in a single statement using the method called as format. That is console.format. So format is a method which will allow you to present anything in some specific format. It's like format specifier. Now here, now what I'm doing is you have taken three values, right? One is string, I mean name, age, city. So all these are actually string data types. So what I'm doing is I'm just printing them one by one. So all the three we took in this order, no? So same order it will print. So percentile s, comma, a percentile s, and so on. So imagine that name is X and age is 1, and location is some xyz, then it should be x comma a1. 1 year old man is living in some location. So this is what I have entered. Now what's your name means, immediately I've entered John. How old are you means 40. Where do you live means California. So John, a 40-year old man, is living in California. So this is how you'll format the strings in this console class. So this is about console class. Now let's see. So till now we have seen how to read the input from console. Now we'll see how to write the input in console. So how to write something on screen using Java's console. So let's see how to write that. Now just see the definition. Writing console output in Java refers to writing the output of a Java program to the console or any particular file. So you can write the output to the console itself, or you can save it in a particular file. And for the methods used for streaming output are defined in print stream class. So every method that we use to write the output on console are actually defined in this print stream class. Now let's see what are the methods used for writing console output. We are going to use three methods. What are they? Print, println, and write. So three methods are there. Now let's see in detail what are they. Now what is the basic difference between print and println? Both are looking same. So actually if you'll see, print is a statement which will just print something on the screen, whereas print ln, so what is ln stands for, means it is making you to print in the next line. So every time you are printing a character. After printing first character, it will go to the next line, and then the second character, it will go to next line. Likewise, means after every output, it will just give the space, it will go to the next line. Whereas if you use print statement, it will print everything on the same line. So you are not mentioning anything like go to the next line. So in that, we have to manually write to a statement to go to the next line. That's the difference here. Now just see the definition. Print method displays the string in the same line, whereas println method outputs a new line character of its execution. And print method is used for directing output to console only, whereas println method is used for directing output to not only console but other sources also. So both these methods are used with the help of system.out.stream. So as it is related to writing the output, it is related to system.out.stream, whereas in the previous one we have seen that system.in-stream. Now let's see some examples of these three methods. Now first thing, we are seeing about print method. So as I told, let's see the example here. Now I took a class in the main method. I have declared a variable a. I took a for loop here, a equal to 1 to 10. So I'm just printing system.out.print a. So I'm printing this variable. If you'll observe, it is print method. Print means the a values are printed in the same line. So what is a value? 1 to 10. So if you'll see the output, it will be like this: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So that is print a. Now let's see the same example. Now here, if you'll observe, I'm writing print ln. So what is print ln? Same values I'm printing 1 to 10. So in this case, it will print one character, then it will go to the new line character. Then it will go to the, after printing this, again it will go to the new line, that is next line. So again next line. Likewise, it is printing one after the other. So that's the difference. If you'll use print, it will print on the same line. If you'll use print ln, it will go to the next lines likewise. And then the last method is write method. Now let's see the write method. What is the speciality of write method? Write method is for directing the output of your program to the console. So we have seen that print will direct the output to console, whereas println will direct the output to console and other sources also, whereas write method is also directing to console only. Now here, let's see the output here. Let's see the program here. So we have a program in that I am declaring two variables, two integer variables a comma b, and for a and b I have assigned some values. One is integer, another one is alphabet. Now here, I'm just trying to write what is there in that particular variable. So system dot out dot write a. So whatever is there in that, it will just print as it is. And then manually I'm writing slash n, that is I'm writing to go to the next line. Next, similarly, I'm printing value of b, and here also I'm manually specifying to go to the next line. So here on the whole, I'm just printing a value and b value. So your output will be q and 65. So this is about writing the output onto the screen. So let's recall what we have discussed in this session. So we have seen that how to read the input from console. So reading the input from console is done using three classes, using buffer reader, scanner and console class. Whereas writing the output onto the console is done using three methods, that is print, println and write. So we have seen that print is only for console, println is used for directing to console and other sources, whereas write is only for console. So this is about console input and output. I hope everyone understood these concepts. Thank you all.